At 11:30 at night, I heard the key turn in the lock. Ethan pushed the door open, a wave of alcohol rushing in ahead of him. I stood up from the couch and met his exhausted face. "You're home late." I took the briefcase from his hand. "There's a project at work." I was with the client until now. He avoided my eyes and headed straight for the bedroom. Nights like this had become more and more frequent. In the 3 years we'd been married, Ethan had never been like this. No matter how busy he'd been, he used to tell me every detail of his day. Now he always looked preoccupied. I followed him into the bedroom and watched him mechanically shrug off his blazer. "Ethan, is something bothering you lately?" He paused, turned, and a flicker of panic crossed his eyes. "No, just busy at work. Tomorrow's the weekend. Let's catch a movie. It's been ages since we went out alone." I tested the waters. "I've still got a meeting tomorrow." Another time. He didn't even lift his head as he started unbuttoning his dress shirt. I noticed a pale pink lipstick stain on the collar, faint, but glaring against the white cotton. My heart missed a beat. Before we continue, please subscribe to this channel and tell us in the comments where you're listening from. "What's that lipstick stain on your shirt?" My voice trembled. Ethan glanced down. His face went white. Must have brushed against someone at the client dinner. "You know how enthusiastic those female clients can get." He said it smoothly, but I caught the faint tremor in his fingers. In all our years together, I'd never seen him this nervous. "Oh." I let it drop and went to brush my teeth. Standing at the mirror, I replayed every recent oddity. More working late, later arrivals, calls taken with his back to me, weekends booked solid with excuses, and hardest to ignore, our closeness had dwindled to almost nothing. He used to pull me into an embrace, steal kisses. Now he hardly touched me. I splashed cold water on my face and forced myself to calm down. Maybe I was imagining things. Maybe work really was crushing him, but that pink smudge felt like a splinter under my skin. When I came back, Ethan was already in bed, turned away, breathing heavily. I slipped under the covers beside him. In the dark I stared at the ceiling while chaotic thoughts swarmed. If he really is cheating, what then? If he's in love with someone else, what then? If our marriage is cracked, what then? I couldn't bear to finish those thoughts. Ethan had been my college boyfriend. We'd struggled side by side, saved for the down payment, painted walls together, sketched our future in notebooks. He'd promised we'd grow old together, that I was the only woman he'd ever want. I'd believed every word, proud of the life we were building. Now certainty was slipping through my fingers. Beside me his breathing steadied. He was asleep. I rolled over and studied the outline of his back. Emotions tangled tight. This man had shared 7 years of my life. I thought we'd stay happy forever. Yet tonight I questioned everything I thought I knew. Maybe I should sit him down for a real talk. Maybe I should trust his explanation. But female intuition whispered, it's not that simple. That particular pink, I'd seen it before. I sat bolt upright, heart hammering. It was the exact shade Sophie always wore. Sophie, my college roommate, my so-called best friend, now Ethan's colleague. Early next morning Ethan rushed out, muttering about a company meeting. Home alone, I couldn't quiet the noise in my head. I picked up my phone and WhatsApped Sophie. "Sophie, free today. Miss you." She answered almost instantly, "Luna, miss you too. I'm free this afternoon, let's shop." At 2 o'clock we met at Manhattan Mall. Sophie floated toward me in a new dress, face carefully made up, glowing. "Wow, Soph, you look amazing. New dress?" I opened cheerfully. "Bought it a few days ago. What do you think?" She twirled, the hem flaring. "Gorgeous. Suits you perfectly." I smiled, eyes sharpening. We strolled inside, pretending nothing had changed. "How's Ethan? Still crazy busy?" she asked. Tone light. My stomach clenched. "Same as ever. Late nights at the office. Men and their careers, right?" She sighed. "Projects are piling up at our company too. Everyone's exhausted." "Your company?" I lifted a brow. "Thought you worked at the agency across Bryant Park." Sophie's expression flickered. "Oh, I meant a friend's office, a friend at Ethan's company." I nodded, filing the slip away. We drifted to a beauty counter. "Love that lipstick. What brand? What shade?" I pointed at her mouth. "Dior 9.99. She pulled the tube from her bag and touched up. I watched the pink glide across her lips. From college to now, almost a decade, I knew every twitch of her smile. Yet today her ease felt forced. After swatching shadows, we settled in a cafe. "Luna, how are things between you and Ethan?" Sophie asked suddenly. The question skewered me. "Good." "Why?" "No reason. Just, you know, after a few years people hit a dull patch." She stirred her latte, gaze sliding away. "A dull patch?" I echoed. "Why bring that up?" "Random thought. Divorce rates are insane. Lots of couples lose the spark." I studied her, suspicion crystallizing. "Why this topic? Out of nowhere. Why the sudden interest in my marriage? Seeing anyone yourself?" I shifted gears. A flush rose to her cheeks. "Nah. You know I'm picky. Your ideal type? Mature, driven, someone with real-life experience. Her eyes glinted with longing. My heart sank. She just described Ethan to a T. Anyone like that at your office? I baited. She gave a thin laugh. Most are married. Married means off limits? I joked. Sophie's face tightened. Luna, that's messed up. Breaking a family is disgusting. Relax. Just kidding. Why so jumpy? I watched her squirm. Marriage isn't a joke. Feelings aren't toys. She sounded righteous, but panic darted behind her eyes. By the time we parted, the girl I'd called best friend looked like a stranger. Something was definitely off. When I got home, Ethan still wasn't back. I sat in the living room, replaying every detail of the day. Sophie had said she works at an ad agency, yet she'd almost blurted out Ethan's company name instead. She'd shown an odd amount of interest in the state of my marriage. Her ideal man checked every box that described Ethan. Most damning of all, the lipstick shade she'd swiped across her mouth was the exact same crimson I'd found on Ethan's dress shirt last night. The signs all pointed to one sickening possibility. Sophie and Ethan were having an affair. My hands started to shake. If that was true, what on earth was I supposed to do? She was the best friend I trusted with my life. He was the husband I loved more than anything. If they'd both betrayed me, I wasn't sure I could ever trust another soul. At 10 p.m. Ethan finally walked in. Meeting ran this late? I asked. Yeah. Complicated project. Lots of back and forth. He shrugged off his blazer, looking genuinely tired. You've worked hard. Let me heat up dinner. While he ate, I tested the waters. Does your company have a coworker named Sophie? Ethan's fork paused midair. Sophie. How do you know her? She was my college roommate. My closest friend. We shopped together this afternoon. I watched him like a hawk. Small world, he said, still chewing. Expression unruffled. Which department is she in? Marketing, I think. We don't cross paths much. Short and sweet, but I caught the way his eyes flicked away from mine. Is she good at her job? Decent, I guess. I don't really know. Clearly, he wanted the topic dead. He wolfed down the rest of his food and locked himself in the study, claiming he had files to finish. Once the dishes were done, I tiptoed to the study door. Through the crack, I saw him on his phone. Voice low. Tomorrow's impossible. My wife's getting suspicious. Day after. Same place. Be careful. Don't let anyone see you. My heart jackhammered against my ribs. I almost burst in, but reason stopped me cold. I needed proof. Lots of it. The next day was Saturday. Ethan announced he had to go in for overtime. Even the weekend? I asked lightly. Project's on fire, he said, gulping coffee and racing out. The instant he left, I grabbed my phone and WhatsApped Sophie. Got time to chat today. She took ages to answer. Sorry, Luna. Tied up with stuff. Rain check. I shot back. What stuff? Need a hand. Her reply came faster this time, just personal. Thanks though. I stared at the screen, suspicion crystallizing into certainty. Ethan claimed overtime. Sophie claimed private errands, yet they'd probably arranged to meet. I changed clothes, pulled on a baseball cap and shades, drove to Ethan's office in Midtown and parked across the street. From the cafe window, I had a clear shot of the main entrance. An hour crawled by, no Ethan. Then Sophie appeared, red sundress, full makeup, gift bag swinging from her wrist. She swept out of the lobby like she owned the sidewalk. My stomach dropped to my shoes. She'd said she was busy, so why was she at his building? Dressed for a date. I scrambled after her. She moved fast, turning corners until she stopped in front of an upscale restaurant, Isabella Trattoria. I hung back, praying I was wrong. Minutes later, Ethan walked up. They embraced at the entrance, then disappeared inside arm in arm. In that moment, the world caved in. My beloved husband, my trusted best friend, together. I sat in the car, numb, watching the clock crawl. Eventually they reappeared, Ethan's hand riding the small of Sophie's back. Both of them laughing. They headed for the Grand Hotel. I followed, saw them cross the marble lobby and vanish into an elevator. I cried in the car until my eyes burned dry. 7 years together, 3 years married, gone in one reckless betrayal. And the traitors weren't strangers. They were the two people I loved most. Back home I locked the bedroom door and weighed my options. Confront them now, or keep quiet and gather more proof. Forgive, or make them pay. I replayed the way they'd touched outside the hotel. Sophie fishing for intel about my marriage. Ethan's recent late nights. They'd been at it for a while, and I'd been a clueless fool. No, this wouldn't end with me weeping in a parked car. If they wanted to betray me, they'd learn what betrayal felt like in return. But first I needed ammunition. Over the next few days, I investigated on the down low. I logged Ethan's supposed overtime shifts and tracked where he actually went. I studied Sophie's Instagram posts, cross-checking timestamps with her whereabouts. A pattern emerged fast. Every Tuesday and Friday, Ethan worked late Every one of those nights Sophie uploaded moody shots of wine glasses or city lights. Then I found harder evidence. A whiff of perfume that wasn't mine clung to Ethan's passenger seat. A new VIP card for Bella Trattoria bulged in his wallet. The kicker, a fresh contact labeled Little Sophie in his phone. While he showered, I scrolled their thread. Miss you today. Same. Can't wait to see you. Tomorrow. Usual place. I'll be early. I almost smashed the handset then and there, but I clenched my fists and shut it down. I needed a clean, complete file, something they couldn't talk their way out of. Friday night, Ethan announced another late project. Probably won't be back till after midnight. Don't wait up, he said, slipping into his blazer. Take care, I answered sweetly. The moment he left I swapped my jeans for black slacks, tugged a cap over my hair, grabbed the telephoto camera, and tailed him. Sure enough, he bypassed the office and sped straight to Bella Trattoria. Sophie waited at the curb in a slinky black dress, smoky eyes gleaming. I snapped shot after shot from across the street, Ethan handing her a jewelry box, Sophie rising on tiptoe to kiss his cheek, their fingers laced as they strolled inside. My vision tinted red. He'd bought her gifts while forgetting our anniversary, and now he was romancing her under chandeliers we'd once toasted our future beneath. I lingered till they resurfaced, then followed them back to the Grand Hotel, clicking the shutter every step of the way. When they vanished upstairs, I finally breathed. The file on my laptop was already thick with timestamps, photos, screenshots. It wasn't enough to ease the ache, but it was a start. Revenge would be cold, meticulous, and absolute, and I already had their first taste in my camera roll. Sophie's face stayed glued in that syrupy smile, love practically dripping from her eyes. I used to believe I was the only one who ever saw that look. After dinner they walked straight into the Grand Hotel. I snapped pictures of them entering, then sat in the car and waited. 2 hours later they strolled back out. Ethan drove Sophie home, then finally returned to our place. Working late must be rough. Did you eat? I asked, faking concern. Yeah. The office ordered takeout. He didn't even blink when he lied. Then get some rest. I'm grabbing a shower. Watching him head for the bathroom, I felt my stomach twist with disgust and rage. For 3 years this man had slept beside me every single night. Now he was sleeping with my best friend, and he could still come home, chat, and deceive me as if nothing had happened. Tears for a guy like this. Not anymore. Starting today, he won't get a single drop. I'll teach them exactly how much betrayal costs. That weekend I asked Sophie to meet Soph. We haven't caught up in ages. Spa day at Riverdale Wellness Spa? Perfect. Work's been crazy. I could use the unwind. She agreed at once. Side by side on the massage tables, we gossiped. You're glowing lately. Some new happiness? I pried. She flushed. Nah. Just better sleep, I guess. Come on, you're practically sparkling, like you're in love. Luna, stop guessing. She wriggled, bashful. If there's a guy, introduce us. I'll vet him for you. Sophie's expression darkened for a second. What if? I mean, if I liked someone I shouldn't, what would you say? She blurted. My pulse spiked, but I kept my voice level. Define it shouldn't. Someone already married. Her whisper was almost inaudible. Soph, you're crushing on a married man? I faked shock. I didn't plan it. Feelings aren't a switch you flip. She sighed. Does he feel the same? I think so. He buys me gifts, takes me to dinner, checks on me all the time. I nearly ripped the sheet fighting the urge to claw her mask off. Here she sat, blissful, zero guilt. But he has a wife. Don't you feel awful for her? I asked, fury corked. I wrestled with that. He says they're basically roommates, just keeping up appearances. He actually said that? Yes. He's never loved anyone like he loves me. 7 years together, 3 married, worth nothing to him. Luna, what should I do? She asked. I drew a slow breath, clinging to calm. Love can't be forced. If you two are real, maybe you owe yourselves a shot. Really, you don't see me as some villain? Love is selfish. When it's true, the rest is noise. The lie tasted like acid. Her face lit up. You're the best friend ever. Thanks for understanding. So what stage are you at? Almost 2 months. He says he'll tell his wife soon. 2 whole months. And I chalked it up to extra workload. Have you met his wife? I kept digging. Once. Plain woman. Nothing special. After so many years she barely notices him. Plain. Inattentive. I cooked his meals, did his laundry, tracked his projects, pampered his life. Still inattentive? Does she suspect? Nope. He says she's naive and busy. Won't catch on. Naive. Busy. They'd cast me as the perfect fool. Outside Riverdale Wellness Spa I drove her home. Be happy, sophomore. I squeezed her hand at the gate. Thank you, Luna. Friends like you are rare. Watching her disappear inside, I sat in the car thinking. I had ample proof and the whole story. Time to launch my payback. If they wanted simple and gullible, they'd meet the strategist in me. The following week I mapped my revenge. First, pick the perfect moment to out their affair. Second, Gather ironclad evidence so Ethan would walk away with nothing. Third, ensure Sophie's reputation crashed at work and on social media. After weighing every angle, the perfect stage appeared. Next Friday was Ethan's company annual gala. Sophie would definitely tag along. I'd expose them in front of the entire staff. But I needed an accomplice. Marcus, Sophie's ex, came to mind. 2 years ago she dumped him for a richer prospect. He'd been devastated. Cried on my couch, calling her heartless. Maybe he'd enjoy some payback. I found his number and dialed. Luna. Long time, Marcus answered. Surprised. I need a favor. Shoot. It's about Sophie. She's wrecking another marriage. Mine. I want her to pay. Silence hummed, then turned icy. What's she done now? I laid out the Ethan saga. Your husband. That witch? He barked. Help me. Whatever ruins her. Count me in, he said without hesitation. I outlined the gala stunt. He agreed instantly. Luna. The way she stabbed you and you're still this composed. Respect. Compassion's dead. Strategy lives. Post call. I prepped props, hidden cams, long-range lenses, chat screenshots, enough dynamite to torch their reputations. Wednesday night Ethan claimed overtime again. I followed him to the Grand Hotel, armed with pro gear. Across the street, I rented a conference room for an hour. The window framed the hotel entrance perfectly. At 8 sharp, Ethan and Sophie slipped inside, one after the other. At 10:30, they walked out of the Grand Hotel. I used my telephoto camera to capture the moment they embraced and kissed at the hotel entrance. The photos were crystal clear, more than enough to prove their affair. When I got home, Ethan was still lying, claiming he'd been working late. How's the project coming? I asked, feigning concern. Pretty well. It should wrap up soon. He lied without missing a beat. That's good. You must be tired. Watching his hypocritical smile, I felt sick to my stomach. 2 more days until the annual gala. By then, he wouldn't be smiling anymore. The day of the gala, I dressed with meticulous care. I wanted Ethan to remember exactly how exceptional the wife he'd lost had been. The event was held at the Plaza Hotel in New York City. Ethan's company had booked the entire ballroom. You look stunning tonight, he said, studying me. Thank you. You're very handsome yourself. I slipped my arm through his. The picture of a loving couple. Inside the ballroom I spotted Sophie almost immediately. She wore a scarlet gown, chatting with several coworkers. Seeing us, she came over. Luna, you're gorgeous. Ethan's a lucky man, she said, smiling. Thanks. You look beautiful too, I answered. Ethan stood between us, his expression uneasy. I'll go greet some clients. He excused himself quickly. Luna, if you've got a moment later, let's find somewhere to talk. Sophie murmured. Sure, I nodded. Once the gala officially began, I chose a seat in a corner and observed. Ethan and Sophie were at separate tables, but their eyes kept finding each other. At 9 p.m. my phone buzzed with Marcus's text, everything's ready. Waiting for your cue. I drew a deep breath, walked to the center of the ballroom, and lifted the karaoke mic. Excuse me. Everyone, I called. The music cut off. Every head turned toward me. I'm Luna, Ethan's wife, and tonight I'd like to share an interesting story. Ethan's face drained of color. He lunged forward. Too late. It's a story about betrayal, I continued. When a wife discovers her husband's cheating, what does she do? Whispers rippled through the room. Even better, the other woman is her best friend. Sophie shot to her feet, white as paper. Luna, what are you talking about? I'm talking about facts, I said calmly. Marcus, you're up. Marcus emerged from the back holding a projector remote. The huge screen flickered to life with clips of Ethan and Sophie on their dates, embracing at Bella Trattoria, kissing outside the Grand Hotel, strolling hand in hand down Riverdale streets. Gasps and exclamations filled the ballroom. I shot every video myself these past weeks, I added. Ethan, Sophie, any comments? Ethan rushed me, trying to snatch the mic. Luna, have you lost your mind? There are hundreds of people here. What's the point? What's the point? I sneered. I want everyone to know exactly what you two are. Sophie ran over, tears swimming in her eyes. Luna, let me explain. This isn't what you think. Not what I think. I raised my phone and played the voice memo in which she admitted the affair. That's you at the spa last week. We've been together 2 months. Ethan's ready to divorce her for me. The room erupted in louder chatter. Ethan's colleagues stared at him with disgust. Sophie's peers pointed and murmured. Luna, let's talk outside. Don't do this here, Ethan pleaded, grabbing my arm. Why? You dared to do it. Why hide? I jerked free. Ethan, 2 months ago you toasted our anniversary, swearing we'd grow old together. Sophie, you called me your best friend, asked love advice, begged for my blessing. You both thought I was an idiot. Tears finally rolled down my cheeks, tears of rage, not sorrow. So today I announce, I'm divorcing Ethan, and I'll file suit for adultery so he walks away with nothing. As for Sophie, I trust the company will decide whether an employee like her deserves to stay. I dropped the mic and walked out without looking back. Chaos erupted behind me, but I didn't care. I'd done my part. Now I'd watch their downfall. My phone rang non-stop the next morning. Ethan called and texted dozens of times. I answered none. Sophie tried just as frantically, even camping outside my building. I refused to see or hear her. At noon Ethan came home. He looked haggard, eyes bloodshot. He clearly hadn't slept. Luna, can we talk? He asked cautiously. What is there to talk about? I regarded him coldly. I admit I was wrong. I'm sorry, but it happened. Let's handle it properly. Properly? I laughed. You mean keep lying? I'm not trying to lie. I just thought I was easy to fool. Thought I'd never find out. He fell silent. Know what gave me the most joy last night? I went on. Watching you two humiliated. Watching everyone point and judge. I loved it. You've changed, he muttered. I changed. I stood and stepped right in front of him. You and Sophie made me this way. If you'd never cheated, if she'd never betrayed me, would I be like this? I know I messed up, but I'll cut her off. Let's start fresh. Please, start fresh? I shook my head. Ethan, can a marriage tainted by betrayal ever restart? It can. If we forgive each other, anything's possible. Looking into his hopeful eyes, I felt revolted. Know what Sophie told me yesterday? I asked. What did she say? That you promised to divorce me for her. That you've never loved anyone the way you love her. His face twisted. She also said I'm ordinary. That I didn't care enough. So you strayed. I didn't say those things, he protested. No. Then how does she know every detail? He opened his mouth. No words came. Ethan, the moment you cheated, we were finished. My voice was steady. Now you have two choices, an amicable divorce, or take it to court. Pick the first and I'll demand less. Let you keep some dignity. Pick the second and I'll present every shred of evidence for a judge to decide. He stared at me, despair swallowing his eyes. Luna, there's really no way back? None, I answered. Absolute. Then I choose an amicable divorce, he said, head lowered. Fine. We'll file the paperwork tomorrow. That afternoon I received an unexpected call. It was from Ethan's mother. Luna, I hear you're getting divorced? Her voice was frantic. Yes, Mom. Why? Haven't you always been the perfect couple? I told her about Ethan's cheating. Silence stretched on the other end. Who is the woman? She finally asked. Sophie, my college roommate. That's despicable. How could any woman do such a thing? She said, furious. Mom, I've made up my mind. This marriage is over. I'm with you. Luna, a man like that isn't worth a second of your life. Hearing my mother-in-law's words, my tears fell again. All these years she had treated me like her own daughter. Now her son had betrayed me, and she stood on my side. Thank you, Mom. Silly girl. No need for thanks. We're the ones who failed you. After hanging up, warmth flooded my heart. At least someone truly cared for me. The next morning Ethan and I went to the county clerk's office. The divorce papers were simple. We were finished in under an hour. Holding the decree, I felt lighter than air. Luna, does it really have to end? Ethan asked one last time. It already has. I walked out without looking back. The first week after the divorce, my phone rang non-stop. Friends had all heard. They called to check on me. Luna, how are you? My college friend Chloe asked. I'm great. Better than ever. I smiled. Really? Divorce doesn't hurt? Why should it hurt? I've rid myself of a cheating husband and a fake best friend. I should celebrate. You're so strong. Life is short. Don't waste it on people who don't deserve it. Between calls of concern, I heard news of Sophie. Word was she'd been fired right after the annual gala. Morals unbecoming. Bad for the company image. She applied elsewhere, but the gala video had gone viral. Everyone knew her story. No one wanted to hire a homewrecker. As for Ethan, he kept his job but found everyday torture. Colleagues stared. Clients lost trust. Rumors said he was drafting a resignation letter. The updates satisfied me. Wrongdoing carries consequences, just as plain and simple. 1 month later, I moved out of the marital condo and rented a sleek apartment in Brooklyn Heights. New walls, new air, new mood. I mapped life from scratch. Joined a yoga studio, took flower arranging classes, booked a solo trip to Tuscany. All the things married me never had time for. Finally, I could live for myself. One night I ran into Marcus at the cafe downstairs. Luna, long time. He waved. Marcus, sit. Let's talk. We settled in a quiet corner. Sophie's in rough shape. From what I hear, I began.
Yeah,
She's temping at a crummy firm. Lousy pay. People whispering behind her back all day. Has she reached out to you? Asked me to pull strings. I refused. Cold turkey. He smirked. Now she's sorry, but the train's gone. Some mistakes don't come with a return ticket. We talked for hours. He told me she rented a shoebox apartment on the edge of Riverdale, counting pennies. She even texted Ethan asking to start over. Radio silence. Seems their epic love was a summer fling with bad lighting, I said dryly. Hard times expose counterfeit hearts. They mistook lust for fate, Marcus replied. Marcus, thank you for that night. Don't mention it. Revenge is a dish I enjoyed too. Leaving the cafe, my feelings tangled. Part of me relished her downfall. Part of me mourned the girl I once trusted. But the past is a closed book. I keep walking forward. 6 months crawled by, and my life locked into a confident rhythm. At work I earned a promotion and raise. Off hours I'd gathered a circle of new friends. Tried every hobby that sparked curiosity. I even toyed with the idea of dating again. Then, on a Saturday shopping run in Soho, I bumped into him. Ethan. He looked gaunt, blazer wrinkled, eyes dim. He spotted me. A flicker of something, regret, crossed his face. Luna, he called. I paused. Voice cool. What is it? Are you doing all right? Better than when I was with you. A bitter smile tugged at his lips. I know I've lost the right to speak, but I'm sorry, truly. Sorry you got caught. Sorry I betrayed you. Sorry I lost you. Ethan, life doesn't sell do-overs. You were the love of my life, he whispered. If I were, you wouldn't have cheated. People get stupid, chase cheap thrills. That's your flaw, not mine. I turned to leave. Luna, can you forgive me? I spun back. I already have, I said. Hope flared in his eyes. But forgiving doesn't mean recycling. I'm letting go for my own peace, not handing you a second key. You're no longer part of my story. Don't rewrite the ending. I walked away. I'll love you forever, he called after me. I didn't turn. Love, if he'd meant it, he wouldn't have shattered it. Real love is loyalty, constancy, responsibility, not apologies after the crash. Outside, sunlight drenched the sidewalk. I filled my lungs with crisp New York air. 6 months had taught me who I was and what I was worth. I even owed Sophie and Ethan a twisted thanks. Their betrayal showed me the ugly, and the lesson forged the steel in my spine. Confidence felt better than revenge. I strode on, certain the next chapters would only get brighter, while they paid the tab for their choices. That is the price of betrayal. Thank you for listening. If you enjoyed the story, please like and share. We'd love to hear your thoughts in the comments. Don't forget to subscribe for more unforgettable tales. See you next time.